That's
Cool.
hilarious. Awesome.
Okay. All right, we're off and running.
All right, go for it.
Okay, as Jim said, my name is Marc Schmatjen, and I am a double goal coach. Many of you in this room might be double goal coaches. Many of you might be double goal coaches and not know it. But I have great news for you. When we leave this room today, all of us are going to be double goal coaches. When you leave here today, you're going to be a PCA evangelist, just like me. And I know you are, because this stuff is, when you hear it, you can't help but be 100% on board. When I was introduced to PCA, it was at a seminar just like this, and when I heard this message, it was like the heavens opening up and shining a light on me that was showing me just every single thing that we should be doing with our kids on and off the field, really. And it was also how to get the best performance out of your kids all in the same package. It's amazing. I want to start by dispelling a notion that you might have shown up with if you don't know anything about PCA until you got here tonight. And all you've heard is Positive Coaching Alliance, and you're thinking to yourself, positive, great. These are the people that print the participation ribbons. Super. Nothing could be further from the truth. A PCA coach is a guy or a gal who came to win. We show up to win. We're fierce competitors. The difference between a PCA coach and what we'll call a scoreboard-only coach is that a PCA coach is a double goal coach, like I was talking about earlier. We're coaching to win the game. We're also coaching to teach kids a higher purpose of developing winners in life. We want to develop kids that are resilient, who can handle adversity, and kids who can win or lose with class. The vast majority of the kids that you coach are not going to go on to play college sports or even pro sports. That's just the simple math of the fact. But every single one of them is going to have to go out there and make something of themselves in life. And that's where the more important second goal of the second goal coach comes in. We are trying to develop awesome adults. Before we get more into the double goal coach thing, however, I would like to have you pair up at your tables, and I want you to talk to each other about the most influential coach that you had as a kid. And specifically, I want you to tell each other what the quality that coach had that you're most thankful for. So talk amongst yourselves. Okay, do we want to talk amongst ourselves, or should we just move on?
You can take an answer if you want.
Okay. All right, let's go with Zach.
Yes. You're just going to call him.
I'm just going to call you out, Zach. Who's your most influential coach?
In talking with Vince, I realized that unfortunately most of my coaching experience with being coached was I didn't have a lot of great coaches. And so, I saw the other side of it where I saw, like I loved sports enough to like stick with it even with, difficult situations, but I saw a lot of my friends, quit and drop out and stuff just because, the coaches were, too focused on winning, there's too much pressure, all that kind of stuff.
If only we had had PCA back then.
Mm-hmm. I'd be a lot taller, a lot faster, and I'd probably
Obviously. All right, well, let's move on and go to the 3 PCA principles. Get back to the role of the coach in the positive youth sports culture. And like we were saying, a positive coach is a double goal coach. A double goal coach is someone who coaches to 3 principles: the Elm Tree of Mastery, filling the emotional tank, and honoring the game. Now, to get into these principles, we're going to start with a movie clip from a movie called We Are Marshall. And many of you might know this movie. This is Robert Patrick, the actor, Robert Patrick, who is playing Coach Rick Tolley from Marshall University. And he is speaking to his football team after a loss. So we're going to play the video. Kelly, we're going to play the video.
You want me to play it? Okay, I didn't know if you wanted me to play it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good effort out there today. Let me be clear about this. A good effort is not enough. Now, I'm proud of it. And I will not accept losing with you. Because there's only one thing they judge us on. There's only one thing people remember. And it ain't how we play the game. Winning is everything.
So, unfortunately, right now, Zach is having a flashback to his youth, I assume. What is this coach focusing on? What's he focusing on?
Winning.
Winning is everything. Winning is everything. Winning, winning, winning.
Exactly. He is focusing on the scoreboard. How do you think he's going to motivate his players at practice, the next practice the next day? What's he going to? What are the tools in this guy's toolbox to motivate?
Fear and intimidation.
Fear.
Shame,
Yeah.
shame. I think there's a shame involved too.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt that. You sort of feel uncomfortable watching this video clip, don't you? Yeah. Yeah. Fear is fear a good motivator?
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're hardwired for fear to be a good motivator. Is it a good long-term motivator?
I don't think so.
No. No, it is not. It ain't how we play the game. That is scary. Let me ask you a question before we go to the second video clip. Can you move the slide, Kelly?
Yep.
Which Olympians earn more medals? This was a study done by Joan Duda at the University of Birmingham during the 2000 Olympic Games. She did a study on which Olympians earn more medals. Is it those that are focused on scoreboard and winning, or is it those that are focused on mastering their sport and personally getting better at their sport? Let me see a show of ones or twos. Who thinks, if you think it's focus on winning, scoreboard, show me a 1. If it's focus on mastery, show me a 2. We lost Kelly, by the way, just now.
Yeah, she'll be back.
Okay, cool. I'll hang on for her.
You keep going. Keep going.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. So most of you have 2s up, which is what we wanted to see. Most of you have 2s up. Ruben's got a 1 up. Her study showed overwhelmingly that the athletes that focused on mastery of their sport over winning, specifically winning the medal, they won far more medals in that Olympic Games than the ones that were focused just on winning a medal. Why? Why do you think that is? Anybody have any ideas?
They don't feel the pressure as much, maybe, to compete against others, and they're more worried about only competing against themselves.
Great, great. Lack of pressure. That's a great one. Anybody else?
Well, I chose 1, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Ruben, why do you think?
Why? Well,
Yeah.
I just look at these Olympians like Phelps and Nadia Comaneci and LeBron James, and it just seems to me that they're just so obsessed with success and refuse to lose, and they won't accept anything. They refuse to accept. I guess I see a little bit of that first coach in them. They will not accept losing.
Right, right. And that's an excellent point, because virtually all great competitors have a scoreboard goal. And they probably have a big scoreboard goal, because those people you mentioned did not show up to get a silver medal, right? I mean, they showed up to get the gold, and that was their goal. But if they're in a mastery climate, if they're focusing more on the process of getting better, that's the thing that enables them to achieve their scoreboard goals. And the key about those great competitors is that all of them understand that focusing on the scoreboard at the wrong time can really be detrimental to what they're trying to do. and can really take their focus off of actually attempting to win if they're worried about winning. Kelly. I don't have audio for you yet, Kelly. Nope. Which we need in this next clip.
Except we all know the clip, so.
Okay, all right. We can go through it. If Kelly can get audio back on, still can't hear you. Okay, so
I can do the audio. Let me tell you something they don't know.
You be
They don't know your heart.
You be McConaughey. All right, so this is a true story. The We Are Marshall movie is a true story. Yeah, hold up the video for a sec, Kelly. Okay. 1970, a plane crash tragically claimed almost the entire football team, short of like 3 or 4 guys on the football team, and almost the entire coaching staff, including Rick Tolley, who was in the video prior. And they had to start over completely from scratch with freshmen, and nobody wanted the coaching job. And a guy named Jack Lingle stepped up and actually volunteered. They offered it to a bunch of people, and he actually volunteered for the job. And this is Matthew McConaughey dressed in some pretty sweet 70s clothes, being Jack Lingle, talking to his freshmen before a big game. So I think Ruben's going to do our audio for us.
Yeah, they're bigger, they're strong. Let me tell you something. They're bigger, they're stronger, and on paper they're just better. Let me tell you something they don't know. They don't know your heart. Blah 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 blah. I do. If we're going to lay it all on the line, if we play like that, we cannot be defeated. We may be behind on the scoreboard. Something like that.
We may be behind at the end of the game on the scoreboard, but if you play like that, we cannot lose. Very good. Nice job, Ruben.
You actually did better than Matthew McConaughey.
That's probably true. So that is Coach Lingle, in his own words, talking about the elm tree of mastery. He is talking about focusing on your game and not on the scoreboard. So let's go to principle number 1, the elm tree of mastery. And we see our graphic here is a bunch of cute little girls about to play soccer, about to play a soccer game. So let's pretend that the one in the middle there has played the game, and she's all muddy, and she's at the ice cream parlor after the game with her folks. And what is that complete stranger who just sees her, knows that she's just played a soccer game, what's that complete stranger going to ask her?
Did you win?
Did you win? Outstanding. Did you win? That's exactly what that stranger is going to ask. And what that well-meaning stranger is really meaning to ask is, were you successful? That's the question that he's asking, but he's asking it in terms of did you win, because we as a society tend to focus on the scoreboard as the measure of success, and really the only measure of success, for a sporting event. Did you win? PCA, we're trying to change that. We're trying to change that attitude, because what you really want to ask that athlete is, were you successful? We're not out to eliminate the idea that winning isn't successful. That's obviously not the case. But we want to broaden the definition of successful to include a more important aspect, which is, how did you play? We want to emphasize the mastery of your sport despite what happened on the scoreboard. And we're going to talk about a scoreboard definition versus a mastery definition and the language that we use for that. So the first scoreboard definition is results. Results. That's the question that the well-meaning stranger asked. Did you win? What were the results that happened on the scoreboard? If you're in a mastery climate, if you're coaching in a mastery climate, what you're concerned about is effort. You're concerned about, are my players doing their best? Are they trying their hardest? I'm not concerned about the scoreboard. I'm concerned about how my players are playing. Are they giving their best effort? Scoreboard definition is going to be comparison with others. Am I better than him? Is she better than me? A mastery definition, learning. learning and improvement. Are you learning and are you constantly improving? Scoreboard definition: mistakes are not okay. A mastery definition is the opposite. Mistakes are okay. Mistakes are okay. In fact, mistakes are great. Because if you're not making mistakes, you're not what?
Trying.
You're not trying. You're not growing. You're not learning. If you're not making mistakes, you're stagnating. Right? The key for a second goal coach or a double goal coach and the mastery environment is how you respond, how you and your players respond to those mistakes. Are you going to hang your head and quit, or are you going to bounce back with a renewed determination to do it better than next time? Okay, Kelly, we're going to go to the next slide. So the elm tree of mastery here, this is just a little memory aid for your athletes to remember the things that you are focusing on. ELM, elm tree: effort, learning, and mistakes. Robert Rozier from Stanford and a few other people did a lot of research on a athlete operating in a mastery climate and being coached in a mastery climate. And what they found was that in a mastery climate, an athlete's anxiety will go what?
Down.
Down. Very good. And their self-confidence will go what?
Up.
Up. Very good. All the research demonstrates this. If a kid is operating in an environment where effort is emphasized, learning is emphasized, and it's okay for him to make mistakes, their anxiety is going to go down, their self-confidence is going to go up. Does that make sense to you? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that they're freed up from playing. You know, they can play fearlessly. They're not going to be looking over their shoulder, wondering is coach going to be mad if I miss this shot.
I like the first word you used, free. They feel more free. Right. Zach, Vince, anything?
Yeah, no, just really trying to get over that fear of failing. You know, I run into that a lot with kids, and if we can just get them to feel comfortable trying and learn that failure is a part of it, then they will be free to go out there and try different things and try to push themselves.
Right. So less fear would equal less anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feeling more free would be more self-confidence. Okay, Kelly, we're going to go to the next slide. So what they found was that being coached in a mastery environment gives the players a feeling of what?
Confidence.
Confidence and control. It gives them a feeling of control, and that is the key. Can you give me control on the screen there? Thank you. Gives them a feeling of control. Oh, back. You're on Jesse. Kelly, you're on Jesse slide.
I wonder if she's not hearing you.
She can't hear us either. Hang on, I'm going to type to her. Back up slides. Oh, I didn't type to her. Hang on.
I think you can keep going even though it's not on that right slide.
Okay. Back up slides. Hang on. I think I'm typing now. Slides. There we go. Okay. Now we're cooking. All right. Gives them a feeling of control, and control is the key here. Name some things for me that you cannot control in a game. Who's got one? What was that?
The officiating.
Officiating, absolutely.
The weather.
Weather, absolutely.
How good the opponent is?
That's one of the key ones. How good the opponent is. How hard they practice. Who you're playing. You can't control that, right? If an athlete's only measure of how they're doing is the scoreboard, they're going to feel wildly out of control almost all the time, because they're measuring themselves against a huge list of things that they cannot control. The three things they can control are their effort, their learning, and how they react to mistakes. And if you're coaching them in that mastery environment, they are going to feel under control, less anxiety, more self-confidence, and here is the huge bonus points. All the studies showed that when the players felt in control, they worked harder and they stuck to it longer. What else can you ask for as a coach? Anything? I mean, you've got players that are giving you your best effort, that are committed to learning, not afraid to make mistakes, feel under control, they're working harder, and they're sticking with it longer. Can you ask for anything else as a coach?
No.
Probably not. No. This idea of the mastery climate getting better results from your players is not controversial among sports psychologists, but a lot of coaches are actually surprised to hear it. The bottom line being that when you take the focus off of winning, you're going to set yourself up to win more games.
Kelly, are you back with sound?
No, we can't hear you, Kelly.
We can't hear Kelly. So Kelly, I'll manage the feedback here if that's okay with you. And I know you can touch base with Marc somehow, either email or afterwards with a quick phone call to give him your feedback. Marc, why don't you start? How did you feel about it?
Good. I'm 100% on board with all the concepts, so I hope that comes through.
Kelly's conviction word came through loud and clear again. I mean, within the first moment, the word conviction popped into my head, and I've turned back to my notes from last time and how we talked about how you bring so much conviction to this. So absolutely, it comes through.
Cool.
What else, Marc?
I feel great about it overall. The funny thing is I'm actually a lot more confident. Not confident, I don't know, nervous isn't the right word. I'm just feel better in front of a live group instead of on a video chat.
Oh, absolutely. Marc, that comes with the territory. This is the hard part,
Yeah.
This is the hard part. So it's great because it's like a team that practices all week, and it's harder in practice than the game, So,
right.
Hey, Marc, you should feel great about it because it's just fantastic what you're doing, and I'll tell you, I can't help but, Marc, I was so impressed with the feedback that you've gotten. Kelly, are you calling me? Oh.
Well, you can put her on speakerphone.
Kelly's a lot smarter than me. She figured out.
God bless technology.
Now, can you hear us, Kelly? Through the phone?
Yeah, she can hear you. She wants to talk to you through the phone.
Oh, go ahead and talk to me.
I couldn't hear you. I could hear you all along. You just couldn't hear me.
Okay. Now we can hear you. Okay. Okay, so, hey, Marc, one of the things that impressed me, there's so much that impressed me, but one thing that impressed me the most is the feedback that you've received along the way. Is there an echo for you guys now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you through your speakerphone.
Now I'm muting my phone.
That's okay. Sorry. I will catch up with Marc afterwards. I'm just listening. Go ahead. I thought it might work.
So I'm going to hang up the phone? Hang up the phone? Axe the phone. Okay. Marc, I was so impressed with how you took the feedback and you just put it into play. For example, I went back to my notes, and you remember we talked about how in the opening, be careful. I'm going to read my notes. Careful not to insinuate they are not double goal coaches. And you absolutely took that. You incorporated it. You also got feedback. Shoot, what was the other one? Oh,
don't oversell.
Yeah. Don't overpromise was Kelly's feedback, and then the best. Who was your best coach? You changed that. Who was your most influential? So, Marc, I was just so impressed with how coachable you've been all along, and so rich with smooth smooth with what you did and rich. There's just you're bringing so much depth to it. I'm just thrilled with what I'm seeing here. So Mark and Vince, excuse me, Zach and Vince, what do you want to add to this?
It's a no for me.
That's it. You're off the Christmas card list.
Yeah, no, I mean, I obviously am a fan of Mark's, and I like his style. I think you may struggle with what I struggle with, in that I mean, love this stuff to death, and it can kind of get in the moment, can get a little like, oh, there's 85,000 things that I want to share at this moment, and so just being able to tighten things up a little bit. But like, you know, every story was great. I think you could probably have a more impactful open. You know, like, you know, you're a high-level athlete. You know, you've done some things, you've coached. Because you know, what we face in the workshops is there's a lot of people that are, why am I here? What do I need to know? What this kind of stuff. And so those first few minutes really are kind of critical to win them over. And I think, you know, for better or worse, you win them over with kind of the expertise factor. And so I think, you know, if you include a little bit more about you and your sports background and, you know, your coaching experience and all that, you know, I think that could strengthen that. But, you know, I like the flow. I love your delivery. You know, I think, you know, it's a good balance of, you know, some humor in there, but then really driving home the key concepts. You know, because I worry about some of our workshops when I go to them, in that they're a little bit too much of a pep rally and less kind of really, you know, educational. You know, it's this spectrum that we got to find the happy medium. And so, you know, as long as you just keep staying in that sweet spot of engaging people and entertaining them, but really getting across the core concepts, I think it's outstanding.
And Zach,
Cool.
did you feel, so you felt that Mark was in a good spot there in terms of balancing the two today, or?
Yeah, I felt like in the beginning it was a little bit, you know, more on the, you know, loose and, you know, entertaining side. And so in the first 5 minutes, I wasn't necessarily won over of like, okay, I can't wait to be here. But then, like, when he was doing, I think he found his groove at about the, you know, 4 or 5 minute mark. And then particularly when he was talking about the little soccer player, you know, it's like we've all been there and we can relate to that. And it's like, you know, I asked my neighbor, hey, how did it go today? And his immediate response is, oh, we lost. You know, and I'm like, no. I mean, how'd you play? How'd you do? But it's like, as a culture, yeah, like that's exactly what happens. Like, hey, how was the game? Oh, we won. Did you win? Did you lose? So, I mean, that's something that every coach, every parent can relate to. So I thought that was really good and done in an engaging, humorous way.
Okay, yeah. So, Zach, one thing you should know is that we have actually coached Mark and the others that some of their own experience and expertise that they bring to this, to go ahead and put it into the introduction that the partner is going to make about them. So, you know, some of the credibility stuff you're talking about, Mark may very well let the partner, as they introduce them, bring that in. And Mark's going to be prepared in case the partner, you know, doesn't introduce them or doesn't do it right. He'll be prepared to back that person up. But
yeah, that
go ahead, Mark.
I was going to tell Zach that what we're skipping here is the bio that tells about me, you know, as a competitor and a sportsman and a coach and all that. So, yeah. Cool. But yeah, I will be prepared to toot my own horn if need be.
That's appropriate. That's appropriate. Vince, anything?
Yeah, I really liked that you could tell that you have knowledge of the PCA content and seem to be pretty comfortable with the order of events that you're going to be talking about with the slides. I mean, that, you know, it became evident just understanding what slides are supposed to go where, and knowing that you wanted to still be talking about certain content with that slide still up on the screen. I really appreciate that, because I cannot stand when I see a presentation and somebody is either clicking through slides too fast, or they leave one up on the screen for too long, and what they're talking about doesn't even go with what's on the screen at the time. So it seems like you were very comfortable with understanding, you know, the order that you should be discussing that content. So I really appreciated that, and I liked how you when you asked the question about the influential coaches, and Zach gave his answer. You circled back to that after the video clip of seeing what he was describing about having that win-at-all-cost coach, and you said, oh, that's probably bringing up some bad memories for Zach. So it was a nice, light, humorous thing that would have got a big laugh out of the room. So that's always important to show that you are listening and that you're making it relevant to what you're talking about at the time. So I appreciated that. The one thing I would say, and this comes with time restraints and the fact that we're doing this over the computer, but one thing that Zach and I were talking about yesterday is people seem to retain information best when it comes after a rebuttal to something that they've said. So when you ask a question and we give an answer back to you, and then having you kind of take that answer and incorporating that into the presentation, if that makes sense, and just giving some more feedback to what that person said. I feel like that's always very impactful for people, because I think subconsciously we're all a little selfish that when we tell a story about ourselves, we want to hear that harped on a little bit by somebody else and get that feedback there. But other than that, definitely.
Vince, can I jump in on that? Because I actually sense that and experience that. I thought when I said number one, gosh, Michael Phelps, those guys want to, I actually thought that Mark did a really nice job of taking my perspective, responding to it, incorporating it into how he moved forward. I felt acknowledged, but I didn't feel like, hey, Ruben, wrong, it's number two. I thought that was handled really well. I think that ties in with what you were just talking about there.
Yeah,
Vince.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you.
Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you, Vince. Go ahead and finish.
Oh no, that was more or less what I had, other than what you and Zach have already mentioned.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Vince, because we've been working on that for the last 7 weeks. Is the crowd engagement? Don't show up and have them hear your voice for an hour and a half. Yeah, and that's huge. Yeah.
And that's something, and like you mentioned, that's always something that's easier to do in front of a live crowd, when you're getting to read people's body language and getting to their facial expressions and whatnot, than it is, over the computer screen like that. So I'm definitely confident that in a live room like that you would knock that out of the park.
Thank you.
So Mark, I mentioned earlier how coachable you are. Just my only one little tidbit here is when you refer to the event that you are leading, refer to it as a workshop. Let's be consistent with the term workshop.
Okay.
You know what?
Seminar today.
Yeah. It's a little thing, Mark, but it's a little thing. But you're the trainer. It's a workshop.
Okay.
Yeah. So hey, so I don't know if you can see Kelly's comments there.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So she's given us some feedback. I wanna say that this is.
You should read them out loud, because they're really complimentary. So.
We can all see them. We can all see them. So
okay, fine.
I just want to thank everybody here. This is a tank filler to me to see our trainer training system. First of all, Zach, the recommendation you made in identifying Mark, that's the key piece. You brought us such a wonderful candidate. Kelly, the work you do with Mark and the others, it's just amazing. And then Mark, again, credit you for being taking full advantage of what Kelly provides. She is the best, and and then Zach, for you and Vince here to be a part of this. I know everybody's busy and it's not always easy, but it's just so awesome to have you guys here participating in this with Mark and seeing where he's at. And so I just am really pumped up with this whole thing. So Kelly's saying it is ideal, and I wish we could get this for all of our course participants at the end. So Zach, you and Vince being here, there it is. Okay, so absolutely, we want to get Mark out there live ASAP. And so Kelly, let's you and I get on the phone and just debrief that a little further as to to exactly what that means. I see you're adding co-presenting with a certified trainer. Absolutely. So, so Zach and Vince, that's what Kelly and I are recommending. Is let's look at the calendar. And I know this time of year the workshops, you know, there's not as many, but hey, Mark, what if the opportunity to get you out co-presenting was like getting, let's say there was not an opportunity in Sacramento right away. Zach, this may make Zach nervous, but I'm going to say it anyway. What if the first opportunity was to get you over to the East Bay? You know, do you think you might have the flexibility to get over there for a workshop
Sure.
if that was indeed the?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Zach, are you okay with that if it turns out that way?
Yeah, no, I mean, with Mark, I really feel like, you know, once he gets 10 workshops under his belt, I think he could be one of our best trainers. You know, I think it's just because he knows all the stuff, he's got the right personality. It's just a matter of, you know, getting a few reps to try some things and, you know, and then tighten the message. And then, you know, because you'll see, like, Mark, I've been fortunate to do a couple of workshops, and you'll really see that the curriculum speaks for itself, but so much of it is the art of reading the crowd and going with where they want, so that at the end you accomplish the 3 or 4 things that you really want to accomplish, but it's been, you know, them getting you there instead of just sticking to slide after slide after slide. So
Right.
I think with a couple of workshops under his belt, he'll be a star for us.
I completely agree. Completely agree. So we want Mark on a live workshop soon. Kelly, are you going to take the lead on that, or? Okay, so Kelly's going to take the lead. She'll consult Zach, Vince, Sonia, me as necessary. But Mark, she's going to look for the first opportunity to get you into a live workshop.
Fantastic.
Congratulations, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys being on to be the audience. It's way more fun with more people.
Absolutely. And Mark, you see Kelly's last note there. She'll continue to follow you until you are officially certified, which we think is not far off, you know. So
awesome. I appreciate it, Kelly.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, we can hear you now.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you are.
You can stop typing and start talking.
Oh boy, what an exercise in self-control that was. Holy cow.
Kelly, I feel like you and I did our debrief already, so
yeah.
You know,
no, I think we're good. Mark, I think just the only thing I was going to say is I really saw improvement so much more from when you just even did the little e-tank demo a couple weeks ago. You're smooth, and you know what you're talking about before it comes up, and you know what's coming next, and that's huge. So I really have seen improvement, and as Zach said, you know, we just need experience is the only issue right now, and that's going to come. So I think I was a little bit nervous, I think, before, because of you have such a natural sense of humor and kind of a goofy side, which, you know, pot calling the kettle black here. That's one of my big
fun-loving side.
Absolutely. No, she didn't use the word goofy. It's cool.
to be that way, but then take the tone down and be serious. Sometimes it catches people off guard, like, whoa, you know, you're talking about something serious. And I think you did a nice job with that. And even, you know, as I said, mentioning research, things like that, I think you did a great job with that. So I'm excited.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. I'm taking off.
Okay, thanks, Ruben.
Thank you very much.
If you guys want to stay on for a second, I just have a couple questions for you.
So we can really talk about Mark?
So we can really talk about Mark.
Okay, then I'll hang up and you guys can talk about me.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
All right, take care. Thanks.
Record.